quickly before I even get into the video, if you could drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel, that would be much appreciated. I'm trying to hit 20k as soon as possible, and that would be much appreciated. Anyways, let's get into the video. Now, pretty much the highest honor you can get as a rookie is to win the Rookie of the Year award, and this year is probably going to be no different. I mean, you look back at some players. Blake Griffin was an all-star in his rookie year. He was an exception, and there's actually some parallels between this class and Griffin's class, because that class was seen as weak, and so is this class, and people will be hoping that there can be some parallels, because you look back at the class, Stephen Curry, Blake Griffin, James Harden, DeMar DeRozan, I think I'm missing some players, but you get the point. That was seen as a weak class, and then they turned out to be one of the best classes we've ever seen. Hopefully this class can be the same. So with that in mind though, this year's Rookie of the Year award is pretty much up in the air. No one really sees a clear definitive best rookie. That's why there was no definitive #1 pick. Edwards was in the lead most of the year, but people could have seen that go to Lamelo or even Wiseman at different stages. And that really sums up the Rookie of the Year race, and that's why I think it's actually really interesting for the first time in a while. I mean, last year wasn't very interesting. It should have been, but Ja ran away with it, Luka ran away with it, and I think Simmons ran away with it, although Donovan Mitchell was kind of in the race. I think Simmons was pretty clearly the best rookie that year and was out in front. They just wanted to make a race out of it. But this year, we've definitely got a chance at seeing an incredibly tight contest, and I think LaMelo Ball's going to be my pick at this stage of the year. Just look at some of the past Rookies of the Year. Let's just look at the last three. Let's look at their numbers that they put up. 17, 4, and 7 for Ja Morant. Luka put up 21, 8, and 6. And Simmons put up 16, 8, and 8. Now, these are insane numbers. To expect LaMelo to put up the same kind of numbers, maybe that's a big ask, but what these numbers say is these guys are just filling the stat sheet. And then you look at what LaMelo did over in Australia. He put up 16, 6, and 7 on average over 16 games. It was a pretty large sample size, and he put up some good numbers. So basically what that tells me is he's got the ability to fill up the stat sheet. We know it, but we've seen it in action before, and when you look at the last three rookies, could just be a coincidence, but it's not really. You can go back to LeBron, back to Jason Kidd, who only shot 38% from the field. Keep that in mind. Something that people have a question mark over LaMelo is his shooting percentage. The reality is, if he puts up 16, 7, and 7, they're going to bypass his shooting percentage. They're not going to give it to someone who shoots 45%, but puts up 10 points a game. Luka only shot 42% from the field, so if LaMelo shoots around 40, 41%, but puts up big numbers and fills the stat sheet, that puts him in A1 position. And I think he can do these things just because of how the Hornets are set up. Sure, the Hornets have a pretty good team, and I actually like that team quite a bit, but you bring in someone like Gordon Hayward to be your star. Compare this to other teams and other rookies that you're going to be up against. Anthony Edwards is competing with Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, even Malik Beasley, Rubio. The list is on and on of players that are going to take the ball out of his hands. Wiseman, I mean, he's in a good situation, but at the same time, how many touches is he going to get? He's going to be running to the rim and blocking shots. He's not really going to be engaged on the offense a whole lot of the time, but I mean, he could still put up good numbers, so he's in the conversation. Patrick Williams is coming in as someone who came off the bench. I think he's going to come in and be a good, impactful player, but he's a defensive-minded guy, and I don't think they're going to give it to someone if he puts up 8 points a game but plays great defense. Like, they're going to give it to the offensive-minded player. It's always going to happen. And then you look at other guys. Killian Hayes in Detroit. I think he's another one that's in the mix, maybe, but then some people have said he's more of a project player and might need a year or two. And then if Blake Griffin's healthy, Derrick Rose is healthy, they're going to take the ball out of his hands. But he's in the mix as well. And then I think Obi Toppin and Halliburton are the two other big threats. Toppin, however, has Julius Randle re-signed. The Knicks have quite a lot of veteran guys, and I think Toppin's going to get good minutes and play well. But at the same time, they've got quite a lot of players on that roster that could take minutes away from him and take touches away from him. Halliburton, on the other hand, I think he's just going to be great. Buddy Hield, however, is still there. And is he going to start? Is he going to come off the bench? I think he's going to be good, but LaMelo, I think, is short of the starting spot. I think you're going to have Graham at the 2, Rozier coming off the bench, or maybe Graham coming off the bench. But LaMelo's going to start from the get-go. He's their prized possession, and he's their most talented player, and they need to make it work for him. So he's going to start, and he's going to get opportunities. Back to the star player in Hayward. He's their star player, but what is Hayward good at? He's good at playing off-ball. Even in his time in Utah, he wasn't right up the top of the league in usage rate. He definitely wasn't in Boston. We've seen him be like a 3rd or 4th option. We expect him to come in and be the 1st option, but not many times are rookies the 1st option, so that's fine. LaMelo's going to be the 2nd, the 3rd option. He's going to get a lot of touches, and I think this Hornets team is just good enough to the point where the surrounding pieces that he can drive and kick to, like PJ Washington can stretch the floor, Miles Bridges when he's on the floor, Devontae Graham can play off ball, even Terry Rozier is underrated as a shooter and all those kind of things. Same can be said for Hayward. There's just enough pieces where they're going to be good and they're not going to rely on him to do too much where he gets overwhelmed. But at the same time, it's not a team so stacked that he's not going to have the ball in his hands a lot of the time. So I think that's why it's such a good mix for him in terms of him having a big rookie year. It also helps that he's played professionally. A lot of players haven't. They're coming from college. He's already got that pro experience. He's had a lot of time to work out. He's had a lot of time to get ready. And he's just going to have the ball in his hands from the get-go, and I think that really bodes well for his rookie year. Another thing to add to this is the narrative's going to help as well. We saw Zion, he was pushed into the Rookie of the Year voting, pretty much solely based off narrative. Same thing can be said for Donovan Mitchell. I'm not saying he wasn't deserving of being in that conversation, but they wanted to create a narrative. Like, Simmons was far ahead, and then Mitchell started to heat up. He was the #1 guy. He was getting a lot of touches and scoring the basketball a lot, and they wanted to put him in the conversation. The NBA media is always going to try to create a narrative. We've seen it with the MVP, LeBron James, best player in the league, but at the same time, he wasn't deserving of the MVP award because he wasn't the best player during the regular season. The reality is, they're still going to put players in their voting ballots because of narrative, because journalists do this, because other people do this, base their votes off narrative, and who's got a better narrative than Lamelo, who's been in the spotlight since he was like 11 years old. LeVar's just got his third kid, LiAngelo, into the NBA. Shout out LiAngelo for signing with the Pistons. Think he's going to be going to the G League, unfortunately for fans. He's not there just yet, but yeah, the narrative around the Ball brothers has always been strong, and his name's going to be front and center of everything to do with this rookie class, because it's not a completely star-studded rookie class. And you look at other guys that I've said, that I've mentioned as potential Rookie of the Years as well. Halliburton's overplaying in Sacramento. That's been a pretty dry spot for a long time. Hayes over in Detroit, they're not going to get too much traction. Toppin's probably the main one who's playing in New York. If he lights it up, then his narrative's going to be quite strong and he's going to gain some traction, but that's about it in terms of rookies. And that's why I think LaMelo's got such a good opportunity at winning this Rookie of the Year. Do you agree with this? Do you think someone else is going to win Rookie of the Year? Did I fail to mention someone? I know there's a lot of sleepers in this class because it's a class really that doesn't have the top level talent. At least it's a class that we don't know it has that top level talent yet. Normally classes eventually pan out and then eventually we see, oh, well, that guy was obviously going to be good. That guy was obviously going to be great. LaMelo's 6'9", who can pass the ball, who can get to the rim, who can shoot threes. Sure, his efficiency was a bit down, but he can shoot the ball. And I think if he works on his mechanics and taking the right shots, his efficiency can go back up. He's got upside as a defender. You look at Edwards, an athletic freak who can score from everywhere. Wiseman, again, an athletic freak who's probably going to eventually stretch the floor, block shots. All of these guys, you're going to look back on it and be like, oh, this class was always going to pan out. It's just people being dramatic. It wasn't a weak class. That's normally how it works out. Again, it could be 2013 where Giannis is the only one and Anthony Bennett went first, but we hope that's not the case. So I think looking back on it, this class will probably pan out well. And is LaMelo going to be the best player? I don't know. Is he going to win Rookie of the Year? As I said, let me know what you think. I think I'd have him as my favorite to win Rookie of the Year, not by a large margin, but I think everything I mentioned really plays into his chances of winning Rookie of the Year, and that's all I can say. I can't speak for anything that I don't know about, and that is a lot of these players because we haven't seen them play in the NBA. Heck, we didn't even see them play in March Madness. We barely saw a lot of these players play at all, so we don't know a ton about these players, but what I do know about these players and what I do know about these teams has me thinking LaMelo's in the front running for Rookie of the Year. Yeah, and that's pretty much all I've got to say in this video. If you did enjoy the video, a like would be greatly appreciated. Also, subbing to the channel, I'm trying to hit 20k as soon as possible. That would be a huge milestone. That would be much appreciated. Anyways, I'll catch you next time. Bye.